In this video, I'm going to create a currency list so that you can select different currency and do foreign exchange calculation in later stage. Get back to our file. We are now creating the currency selector. So first of all, we create a placeholder that is called my set GL currency. You can call it whatever, but for convention, I just my set GL currency. We need the name to look from the field list to grab the description in different languages. Let me go back to our bookkeeping interface. So I just called it my set GL currency. Control X, Control V, place it here, and then Control 1. To open up the format cell, just give it a border. Fill that with green because I'll be selecting the currency that I'm going to use. Alright, just move it here because I want to display the text displayed in different languages. Call this cell my set GL currency. Okay, and what I need to do is to create the name in the field list. So in the field list, I have to put my set GL currency and then select the tab name that it belongs to. Actually, it belongs to my bookkeep, and you will see the field number is automatically generated. Let me fill in the description for the my set GL currency. You can type it, but I simply copy the text to my field list. It's here. So I just put everything in English and then I remove this one and the rest of it, Control X. And this one is Chinese, we'll move that. And I do it for Japanese also. So this one is simply, alright. Just go back to my bookkeeping interface. And in this area, I can just Control C, Control V, change the index match formula. So I just change the row because for the column it stays the same because I'm looking for the language choice that is already built in a template that we download. So we just change the field name to my set GL curl, which is here, right? And then enter. Let's open that up. Oh, add currency. All right. Anyway, let's go back to field list and change this to ledger. Then go back to bookkeep. You see, select ledger currency. If you changed it to Chinese, then the reporting currency selection, this one, if you change it, then it becomes Japanese. Okay, go back to English, Control S to save it and move on later. So we move on to create a currency list like this. In our file, simply go down the tab and click the plus sign to add a new sheet. I just called it my currency list. So the very first column that we need is currency code. So simply pick an area. I just pick C7 because I need to leave some room for design purpose. Also this one, I just create a currency code. And this one is the currency display text. And the other one are the language 1, 2, and language 3. Actually, you can create language 4 and so on. Just append that on the right. Oh, I just call the currency select text. Okay, doesn't matter. I just call this one currency select text. Okay. Control T to create a table, and our table has headers. So take the my table has headers, and then OK. Then we will have this. Select the two fields, and then I go back to field list, and then I will right click on the space. I just click paste special transpose, and usually I do values because it will be in text string. So I have currency code and currency select text. The tab name will be, actually we haven't created a tab, so we need to get down to the tab list, and inside the tab name just type the list that we just create, my currency list. So it's my curl list. And the file name, we can just do this, Control C, Control V. Then we will create the link automatically. But we don't have the tab display name. So that's why we need to get back to the field list and insert a column. We just give a name to our list, like the my bookkeep. This is my curl list. Yeah, then we can select my curl list. Oh, sorry, it's not in my curl list. It's in the tab list because the my curl list is managed in the tab list. So we just do my curl list. But for the currency code and currency select text, they will be in the my curl list. Okay, so we have to follow that sequence. Let me add the English description. I'm going to Control V to paste everything. Just remove that, Control X. And then for the Chinese description, just paste this one. All right, this one for Japanese. We do the same thing for currency code and currency select text. So for currency code, we just grab the thing here, currency code, and the English description is currency code, of course. We do that for Chinese and Japanese. Okay, for currency select text, I will be doing this one, create here. So the English one is displayed currency. Oops. And the Chinese one. And this one is Japanese. The display currency. So let's get back to my currency list. I'm getting lazy. So I just go to language list and simply, oh, excuse me, not field list. I just go to field list and just grab the stuff here. Control C. And then I go back to my currency list and then Control V to paste it here. See the currency code? This is already included. And then select everything, Control C, drag it and Control V. Then we simply go to language 1, right click, and then paste. Then we have English, Chinese, and Japanese. All right. I'll test my language by changing the language here. Change it to Chinese. Sorry, let me change it back to English first. And then we will be able to select the currency, which is this one. Or if you change the label to English or to Chinese, when we select again, then we have the TOO5. So when I click this one, which is the currency list, it will be in our currency list. So we get back to field list, change it back to English. We do this here and go to currency list. Then we can add our currency table here. Usually I will be highlighting these 4 parts. Control 1, and then I fill that in with green because I will be entering text manually here. Okay, let's get back to filling in the currency list. All right, copy these. And actually you can type whatever currency underneath. You just insert a row and then type, let's say, Australian dollar, fill in the English, Spanish, whatever language here, then it's good to go. But here I only include the 4 currencies. All right, Control F3. I'm going to name this table, table 5, the one we just create. Just go to Edit, and I just called it my curl list, my currency list. So I just add it is the list of currency. Okay, so I name this first so that it's better for display. The currency select text is going to be if the currency code column, if the length of the currency code column equals 3, I'll enter. I'm going to look up from the my currency list, which is the one we just create, and then I'll enter. I'm going to do the row match. In case if you're not familiar with the index match combo, you can watch my other. So I'm not going to go too deep in the fundamentals. and I'm going to match the individual code, which is here, this cell, comma, and match with the currency code, and then it's going to be an exact match. I'll enter, then I'm going to do the lookup. The lookup value is going to be the language code, which is here. So you can see language choice number, right? This one. Language choice number is here in your bookkeeping interface, comma, and it's going to be matched with the lookup array, which is, let me go back to the currency list, which is the column head of the my currency list, comma, 0, and then close the bracket. I'll enter and close everything. Close the index and close the if. So you will see here, right? So it's going to look up for English. You know what? The currency code is not free. So because this one for USD, I have to make sure it only contains 3 characters. So you see USD, Japanese yen is also the same case. Move that. Then you will see the Japanese yen like this. I don't want to see false here. So after the value if true, I put a comma, and then the value if false is going to be a double quote. So it's going to return the cell that appears to be blank, but it's not actually blank. Okay, let me go back to our bookkeeping interface. You don't want to click the tab every time, right? So that's why copy the whole thing. So Control C, copy this thing and go back to my currency list. Just in the same area, press Control V. So this time it should work. And here I can add currency, right? And I go back to my bookkeep. I have the control here as well. So click that, then go back to my bookkeep. Actually, what we can do is going to fill in the ledger currency. But before that, I'm going to switch the language to Japanese just to check if my display text is correct. So just click P005, which is the currency. This one, my currency list, and I can see the currency select text is in Japanese. Just click P004. It has some, okay, let me do some design thing first. So let me go back to T004, which is the bookkeeping interface, which is here. Okay, let me change it back to English. This is easier to follow. I'm going to insert a drop-down list here so that you can select the currency. So let me just put it here first. The formula is going to be, actually it doesn't matter what cell you pick because I'm going to copy the formula here to a defined name. It doesn't matter where you type the formula, okay? So it's going to be equal to the first cell of the currency select text, which is this one. And remember, it's going to be locked. Highlight this one, D8, and I'm going to press F4 to lock it. And then you put a colon to the whole range, to the whole column of this one. Alright, but remember, if you do it this way, you will be selecting the blank cell as well. That's why I'm going to add a count if, and then, I'm going to add an index so that I'm going to look up for the whole column of currency select text, comma, and then the criteria to filter is count if when the whole column of the currency select text equal to the criteria is a double quote. Oh, excuse me. Just no, because it's very hard to type. Okay, double quote, pound key, and then a question mark. Basically, it means, oh, too bad. Need to go back. So let me go back here. So actually, you can put a comma so that you can read the whole thing here. All right. So I'm going to copy the formula without the quote, Shift N, and then I select everything except the quote, and then press Ctrl C, and now I'm going to press Ctrl F3. I'm going to create a new name in the name manager, and I just called it my curl list selection. And then in the refers to, simply select everything, press backspace to remove that, and then press Ctrl V to copy the formula. So this time you should see a formula here with my currency list selection, and then I press close. All right, then go back to your select ledger currency, which is here, the my select GL curl cell, and then you press Alt DL. All right, to get into the data validation, and then allow a list, and then in the source press F3, then select my co-list selection that you just create. All right, then okay. So in this cell, when you click it, you should be able to select currency. And let me change the language to Japanese. When you go back to the same cell, you're going to select based on the language. Actually, I forget something, because you know what? Let me change it back to English. I'm going to go back to my currency list. I have to add something to the formula. I have to add, if it equals to 3, I have to put an N, and then, okay, just give it a space. Before a space, put an N, and I'm going to add the currency code. Oh, too bad. So I just manually type it. It may be better. So this one, going to add a currency code, and then put an @ sign. All right, so that every time when you check the currency select text, it's going to display like this. The reason why I do that is when you extract data from the currency selection, you can simply slice the leftmost 3 digits to grab the code, and you can use the currency code for indexing. Okay, so let me go back to my bookkeep, and this time when you go to the drop-down list, when you click that, you have, let's say I pick euro. All right, underneath that, I'm going to put a formula called left, and then I select this one, this cell, which is my set GL currency that we defined previously, comma, and then I'm going to grab the leftmost 3 characters and then close the bracket. And I'm going to name this as report currency. All right, because we are going to use this currency throughout the entire accounting system. You can remove this one because it's just for easy memorization. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Let me save and take a break.